Perfume is made up of two main components. The first are the fragrant materials, which are also referred to as the notes, and they usually take up between 10 to 20% of the perfume blend. And the other part, 80 to 90%, is made up of what we call fragrance carriers, which can come in two different forms, either an alcohol-based carrier or an oil-based carrier. And over this two-part video, we're going to discover exactly what these main components of a perfume are. In part one, we're going to look at the fragrance materials or the notes. And then in part two, we're going to look at the fragrance carriers. So let's start first by taking a look at the fragrant materials, also known as fragrance notes. The first components are a type we discussed last week. And these are the materials that we extract from nature. And we call them the natural extracts. These natural extracts come from many parts of the natural world, such as different parts of the plants like flowers, buds, fruits, leaves and woods, and from animal creations such as ambergris and beeswax. And these natural extracts come in our perfumes in three forms, which are 1. Essential oils. These are volatile fragrant materials that add an airy, light and uplifting effect when added to our fragrances. Essential oils make up the largest group of natural materials used in perfumery and are known for having many health and therapeutic benefits, such as helping stress and anxiety, alleviating muscle pains, aiding with skin conditions, and even helping us sleep. And for over 5,000 years, essential oils have been used for this purpose by the ancient Egyptians, ancient Greeks, in ancient Chinese medicine, in traditional Indian medicinal potions, and even during the days of the Great Plague of Europe, when doctors would put essential oils in their garments as a means of protection against the diseases. And the natural materials that come as essential oils in our fragrances are citrus fruits, herby notes such as lavender, spices, flowers, the woody barks of trees like cedarwood, roots of grasses like vetiver, leaves like patchouli, and some tree resins such as frankincense and myrrh. 2 are absolutes. These are the most concentrated natural extract and are full-bodied, sensual and incredibly rich. Some materials, especially the petals of flowers, are very fragile and delicate, and using extraction methods that use higher temperatures such as steam distillation, which is used for essential oils, would damage the materials and their aroma molecules. Absolutes have been used in perfume practice for thousands of years, starting with the ancient Egyptians, where they were extracted using a traditional method called enfleurage, something that we discussed in the previous module. Just to reiterate, enfleurage is a highly skilled extraction method and uses purified fats to extract the aroma molecules out of the materials. And what we end up with is a waxy, thick, butter-like substance known as an absolute de pommade. But today we use a new method called solvent extraction, which uses solvents to extract the aroma molecules out of the material. The most common materials that we extract as absolutes are rose, jasmine, tuberose, orange blossom and beeswax. And these absolutes contain far more of the aromatic principles of the plant and smell even closer to the raw materials smell in nature than essential oils. And because of this benefit of absolutes, today many materials that can be extracted as essential oils, such as basil, clary sage, clove bud, ginger and lavender, are also extracted in absolute form, so to give an even more authentic feeling to the perfume. The third type of natural extract used in our perfumes are known as tinctures and resinoids. Tinctures are materials from the resins of plants and trees, such as benzoin, labdanum and galbanum. And tinctures are from solid animalic materials such as musk, ambergris and civet, and drier parts of plants such as vanilla pods, tonka bean or iris root. These materials are similar to absolutes, highly concentrated, tenacious, warm, deep and very long lasting, and act as fixatives, helping the other ingredients in a perfume to take even longer to evaporate off our skin. They are extracted through a process called maceration, where they are left in alcohol until the aroma molecules are dissolved into the alcohol. The next type of fragrance notes are known as the synthetics. These only became a part of the perfume industry through the development of organic chemistry in the 19th century, making perfumes both affordable and accessible at the same time, and heralding the birth of the modern fragrance industry. Before the 19th century, all perfumes only consisted of natural materials. The problem with only using natural materials is that they were very expensive due to their limited supply and their production and transportation costs. To put this into context, at today's market value, the highest quality rose oil can cost as much as £3,000 per kilo. Jasmine oil was as high as £5,000 per kilo, and the highest quality orris oil from the orris root an astronomical £45,000 for just 1 kilogram. Now, there are 4 main types of synthetic materials that are found in our perfumes. First are a group which started the trend of synthetics in the perfume industry, known as natural isolates. Technically speaking, these are natural materials. However, as they require the work of a chemist in a lab to isolate them, they are considered synthetic. As you now know, each natural ingredient has hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of aroma molecules, and a chemist can now isolate each one and use it in a way they want in a perfume. For instance, some of the main aroma molecules in rose are citronella, which gives rose its clean citric-like freshness, geraniol, which gives rose its sweet, fruity, plummy tone, and eugenol, which gives it its spicy tone. Now, a perfumer may be creating a fragrance which requires the spicy aspect of a rose, so they must isolate the eugenol. Or they may want the fruitiness of a rose, then they have to isolate the geraniol. So if we want to enjoy these different aspects of rose in our perfume, it's only possible if a chemist isolates the aroma molecules citronella, geraniol and eugenol separately. The technique of isolating aroma molecules was first used in the world's first synthetic perfume, Fougère Royale by Hubignon in 1882, when the perfumer Paul Parquet isolated a material from tonka bean known as coumarin, which we discussed in last week's video on perfume history. Coumarin has a warm almond-like scent, and its revolutionary use in Fougère Royale didn't only give birth to a new chapter in perfume, but also contributed to the creation of the masculine fragrance family known as Fougère, which coumarin note is essential. The second perfume to utilise natural isolates was Guerlain's masterpiece Chiqui in 1889, and without Aime Guerlain's ability to isolate the material vanillin from vanilla, the scent would never have existed. There are so many other examples of these natural isolates that are essential in our perfumes. Ionane, obtained from violets, which gives violet their sweet, powdery scent. Patchouli, which is obtained from patchouli, which gives it its natural, earthy scent. Cedrol, which gives cedarwood its more dry woodiness. And there are many, many more. Perfumers are constantly discovering new isolates, which are transforming the perfume world and ensuring we always have new types of scents to enjoy. For instance, in the 1950s, chemists discovered the natural isolate from jasmine known as Hedian jasminite, which is totally different to the sensual animalic scent of jasmine. Hedian is fresh and mineral-like and has a citric tone, and was first used by the perfumer Edwin Runitska in his masterpiece Dior Eau Sauvage in 1966. And since then it has totally transformed fresh perfumery, inspiring perfumes such as Armani Acqua di Gio and Calvin Klein's CK1. The second type of synthetic notes are known as synthetic reconstructions. These are created by highly skilled chemists who are able to build a synthetic material which has an identical or close to identical structure and odour profile to an original raw material. These serve 3 key purposes in the perfume industry. First, they are a much more price-efficient solution to the super expensive natural materials. Second, it means that ingredients that are banned or restricted in use for animal rights purposes such as civet or natural musks, or for allergen reasons such as oak moss, can be recreated so we continue to use their scent in our perfumes. Third, in some ingredients the scent is impossible to extract naturally, and the only way we can obtain their scent for our perfumes is through a synthetic recreation. The classic example is Lily of the Valley, whose scent has proven to be truly elusive, and without synthetic reconstructions, such as the trademarked note by IFF called Lyral, it wouldn't be possible to have the uplifting green floral scent of Lily of the Valley in our perfumes. The third type of synthetic notes are known as true synthetics. These are genius creations and are considered completely new odours, created as something we have never smelt before in nature. This category has totally transformed the modern perfume industry, and without them we may never have some of the fragrances that we love today. For instance, synthetic material ethyl maltol is officially a synthetic as it hasn't been found in nature and was created and patented by the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer. If you haven't heard of ethyl maltol, you would have almost certainly smelled it before, as it's a note which put edible gourmand perfumes on the map when it was used in the iconic gourmand scent Angel by Thierry Mugler in 1992. Its scent doesn't exist in nature, but the best way to describe it is to say it's a combination of cotton candy, caramel and sweet berries. The fourth is aldehydes. Aldehydes are naturally occurring aroma molecules that come in thousands of forms, and again they are considered synthetic because they have to be stabilised by a chemist in a lab for use in perfumery. When we refer to this category, we're referring mostly to a type known as fatty aldehydes, which are defined by how many carbon atoms they have, so have a C before their name. The ones we most associate with our perfumes are aldehydes C10, C11 and C12, and these are the ones used in Chanel No. 5 and make floral scents shimmer and sparkle. The other kinds are known for giving us fruity notes, such as aldehyde C14, which smells like peaches and gave the iconic Galan Mizuko its scent, and aldehyde C16, which gives us a strawberry scent, and aldehyde C18, which gives us a coconut scent. So just to reiterate, the four main types of synthetic notes in our perfumes are natural isolates, synthetic reconstructions, true synthetics, and aldehydes. And the third type of fragrance notes used in our perfumes are known as perfume accords. This is something which confuses many people, and the simple way to think of them is they are a combination of natural extracts and synthetic materials, which are used in combination to try to create a certain smell or effect. And they can be considered as almost a mini fragrance inside a fragrance. For example, we could have a spicy accord, which means it could be a combination of natural spicy materials and synthetic spicy materials, and are blended together to create a general spicy feeling in a perfume. Or a citrus accord, which again could be a combination of natural citrus materials such as lemon or bergamot, and some synthetic citrus materials, which would create a smell that we would recognise as being citric. And as a final example, you could have a floral accord, which could be a combination of some natural floral materials with synthetic floral materials to create an overall floral effect. You may be wondering, what is the point of creating an accord, a mini fragrance inside a fragrance? And the reason is because it is much more efficient and less time consuming way for a company and perfumer to make perfumes. And rather than having to build the citrus or spicy or floral aspects of the perfume from scratch, they can literally just use the previously formulated accords to save them time. This is especially useful in the mass fragrance industry, where fragrances have to be created and developed at a very large pace and scale. Another example of an accord could even be a whole fragrance. So for instance, you may have heard of the term flanker. A flanker is a limited or special edition of a famous and popular perfume. For example, Dolce & Gabbana every summer launch a summer edition of their famous perfume Light Blue. Now, rather than having to create the summer edition of Light Blue from scratch, what the perfumer does is take a light blue accord that smells like the overall composition of the original light blue, and they add new ingredients to make it slightly different to the original whilst maintaining the original light blue character. So for instance, the original light blue Perfume, designed by perfumer Olivier Cresp in 2001, is known for its iconic notes of Sicilian lemon, Granny Smith apple, white jasmine, white rose, cedarwood and white musk. Now in the summer of 2019, Dolce & Gabbana launched the summer edition Light Blue Sun, and they wanted to build it based on the iconic ingredients I just mentioned, but wanted to make it feel warmer, more solar and sweeter and gourmand. So to do this, they used a light blue accord which had the iconic lemon, apple, jasmine, rose, cedar and white musk, but then added to it the accord of warm and creamy coconut, a radiant and sunny flower of frangipani, and sweet edible note of vanilla. So this is how it's done. And this is what brands do whenever they want to launch a new edition of their favourite fragrance lines. And that is what an accord is. So to summarise, the 3 types of fragrant notes found in our perfumes are 1. Natural extracts such as essential oils, absolutes and tinctures and resinoids. 2. Synthetic notes such as natural isolates, synthetic reconstructions, true synthetics and aldehydes. And 3. Accords, which are a combination of natural and synthetic ingredients and can be thought of as a mini fragrance within a fragrance. Thank you, and I will see you in part 2 of this video when we talk all about fragrance carriers.